So I was talking to a male friend of mine the other day, and he told me that women don't apologize and women can't be held accountable. And I began to really think deeply about this idea. And one of the things that came across my mind is, in the last 9 months or so of me being in my private practice, I have myself experienced many women, whether they came in as a couple or they came by themselves, they very abruptly discontinued their therapy. And even though the husband would continue to come, he made it very clear that, yeah, she won't apologize. She thinks you're wrong. She thinks you're taking my side. And I began to really reflect, like, oh my gosh, is it true that women don't apologize? Is it that women struggle with being held accountable?
You want to know what men want? We hate the fact that y'all don't take accountability. You rather shut down, flip the script, start crying, turn red, act like you can't breathe and you gonna die and you got the hiccups.
You're right.
We hate that.
Emotions can be used as manipulation. He brings up something that he wants to talk about. She cries because of what he said. And he said it nicely, but it's something they need to deal with. And she cries. And so really her crying is a manipulation. It's I don't want to hear anything that I'm, quote, doing wrong. Being a victim is actually a power position because you are making it impossible for anyone to deal with whatever is going on between the two of you.
Women, we like to victimize ourselves a lot and never take accountability for our part we play in our own suffering. And a lot of my relationships, they ended. And, you know, a lot of them were because I chose the wrong man and, you know, I stayed around for the wrong things. But it was really hard after those relationships ended to reflect on the things I did wrong because I felt so guilty about it and ashamed. And I'm like, no, I'm not this person. I'm a good person. I'm not selfish. I'm all these things. But in reality, it was really important for me to stop playing the victim and start understanding where I can be better.
You wasn't giving any attention to me. So
in my mind, I was giving you all my time.
But you wasn't.
Do you feel like you're being blamed for her cheating?
That's exactly what's happening. You're saying I wasn't giving you time. That's an excuse. That's an excuse. You know full well what you was doing. What does that have to do with me? What does that have to do with me? If I go sleep with someone else, I'm cheating on that person still. That was my decision to get into that. It doesn't matter.
Why do modern women struggle with accountability?
Because that would mean that they have to acknowledge that they don't bring value to the table. That would mean that they have to acknowledge that all they have to offer is beauty and intimacy. And that's unfortunate. A modern woman of 2024 is a woman that seeks attention and validation more than respect and authenticity. It is a woman who is entitled to whatever it is that people have around her. It is a woman that takes things for granted, is not appreciative, and kind of just has a high level of expectation with low level of give. You know, she's a taker, not a giver.
At age, brothers. Men, if 1,000 men watch this video, I guarantee you, man, if we were to describe the woman that fits our liking, man, we would have 1,000 different versions of a woman, right? You know what I'm saying? Some of us like chocolate women. Some of us like thick women. Some of us like African women, Asian women, Italian women, tall women, short women, thick women. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to one attribute of a woman, outside of the physical, man, that we cannot afford to entertain, it's the woman, man, that takes absolutely no accountability in life, brothers. I'm gonna tell you this, man. I don't care what she looks like. I don't care if she checks every box on the physical realm for you, man. If that woman is not mature enough to take accountability for anything in life, you must run for the hills, brothers. And I'm gonna tell you this: it can often be a challenge Because I live in the same world as y'all, man. Like I go through the same summers. I see the same thick thighs. I see the same cornrows and manicured toes. I see the same baddies, bro. And a lot of times you can find yourself entertaining women, you know, that show this trait of not taking accountability for anything. And just over a period of time, whether it's a few weeks, whether it's a few months, whether it's a few whatever, you will find out that she's one of those, man. And by that time, you're already hooked. You're already hooked, man. We must never entertain a woman of that has a trait of never taking accountability, brothers. But why, so? She's fine, so she's cute, so she talks to me sweet, so you can't trust her. That's why. That's the main reason why. You can't trust her. You have to understand. A woman that doesn't take accountability is constantly rewriting the script of life, is constantly rewriting history at all times. It may take a while to pick up on it, right? In other words, and when I say no accountability, you have to look at every single story this woman tells you. Of course, she's going to tell you about a relationship or two. She's going to tell you about some of her friends that fell out. She may tell you about how some of her sisters and brothers or parents don't even talk anymore or whatever. She might talk about the job. She might talk about why she left this church and went to another church. She might talk about why she was a part of the religion and left the religion. She might talk about why the school and the PTA meetings always go south or don't go on her way. It's always going to be somebody else's fault. She's never gonna have a role that she played that was a part of something going south that she could have corrected, brothers. You know people like this. And when you hear enough stories from a person and they can never see where they did something wrong in all of those scenarios, you have to understand, man, that person is simply rewriting history at all times. Rewriting history to make somebody else the scapegoat in a situation. And I'm going to tell you this, man, this alone, I mean, we can sit there and talk about all kind of other traits from women, cheating and all. This alone is going to eliminate most women. This is going to eliminate most women because most women will not take accountability. And I'm telling you, brothers, if she does it, you can't trust her. And when I say you can't trust her, it's just a matter of time before you're that scapegoat. It's just a matter of time before all those stories turn around and now her attention is directed towards you. And now she's sharing some made up story about you to the rest of the world. And a lot of times that's when it'll make sense. That's when it'll make sense. So brothers, we have to pick up on that, man, because the first thing is you cannot trust a woman that takes no accountability. It's an absolute non-negotiable. And it's simply just asking a woman a series of questions. Oh, yeah, you and old dude broke up. Yeah, you keep telling me about that. What happened? And, of course, she'll tell you. Then you can say, well, what part did you play in that? Oh, no, I was Mother Teresa. Oh, no, at my job, I was the employee of the year. Oh, at my church, I was the holiest of holies. Or whatever situation. Run for the hills, brothers. Run for the hills. The second reason, man, why you can't entertain a woman that takes absolutely no accountability is because there can be no growth. And I'm talking about in the relationship. Now that you've come and joined energies with the woman, whether y'all are married or whether y'all are long term, now that you join energies with a woman that takes no accountability can have absolutely no growth. Meaning her life is pretty much going to be cycle after cycle after cycle. Why is that so? It's because to grow, it requires self-awareness. To grow requires a person to look at themselves and say, you know what? Let me look at what I do wrong on a daily basis. Let me look at what I've done wrong over the course of my life. And let me tweak that so I can go forward. If a person can never look at themselves, man, they can never tweak that to get better. And again, if you're joining forces with a person like this, now your life is going to be on repeat just like theirs. Think I'm lying? I got a number of videos talking about joining energies, man, in your life becoming one. You join forces with a person that can't take accountability, brothers. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Because you gotta understand, when people are moving forward, it requires both people to have similar energies. And if one person is always pointing at the government and all these other bodies or all these other people on why they can't move forward, then you got to understand that your relationship is going to be stagnant and your person is going to be pointing at you the whole time. They're going to be finding fault on how you're the reason the relationship isn't going forward, instead of two people being on one frame of thought moving in one direction. I've talked about this a number of times, man. Again, man, a woman that takes no accountability, man, it's turmoil. It's an anchor. It's a mind. You know what I'm saying? It's too much going on, brothers. And a lot of times, man, it's just a matter of us catching this early in the game. You know what I'm saying? But the last one is what I feel is one of the most important, man, which I guess trust is pretty important. But a woman that takes no accountability, man, is just not dependable. And I'll say this, man, if there is one attribute that we as men need from women, is we need a woman to be dependable. You know what I'm saying? In other words, when we put structure in order, when we put things and guidelines in order on how we must move as a unit, you have to know that woman is holding up that end of the deal. Because a lot of times you may call a play, but you might be out of pocket. You might be doing something else. You have to know that your woman has enough self-awareness, enough discipline. You know what I'm saying? Enough accountability within herself that where she's saying, you know what? If this doesn't get done, it's my fault. If she's a person that can't say that, brother, you can't depend on her no more than you can see her. In other words, if she leaves the room and goes around the corner, you have to assume she's dropping the ball. You have to assume it. Because a woman in a relationship that's not accountable, when she has no dependability, I'll say it like this. When I say dependability, man, like there are so many moving parts associated with relationship. Of course, like I just said, dependability on knowing she's going to be doing a certain thing when you're not there. But you got to understand, when I say dependability, I'm also talking about like her ability to hold her weight in the relationship. And I'm gonna tell you, man, if you've never been in a relationship with a woman that doesn't want to hold any weight, brother, it's not a good thing, man. It's gonna wear you down. And when I say hold any weight, like of course, I'll say it like this, right? I'll say it like this. Of course, a lot of times in a relationship, a man pretty much holds down the physical. Whether it's the heavy lifting, whether it's the paying of the bills, whether it's all that. But a woman is supposed to do a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to the emotional state of the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Just the emotional vibe. She's supposed to create the atmosphere for the room that y'all live in, quote unquote, the room that y'all have that space. A woman that has no accountability is wanting a man to do both. She's wanting a man to do all the heavy lifting in the physical realm, but also put a separate bubble around her ego to protect her ego instead of her holding down the emotional state of the relationship. You know what I'm saying? And if you've ever been in a situation like that, brother, it is draining. It is draining. And every relationship is different because a lot of times it's not about a man having 100% of the physical lifting and a woman having 100% of the emotional state. A lot of times that's blended. But even in those situations, man, you will have a woman. I'm gonna tell you this. It is a headache, man, to have a woman in your life where you say, okay, this is what we're doing. This is where we're going. This is how we're going to get there. These are the steps we're going to take as a unit. This is my part. This is your part. Let's get it. Let's eat. And y'all move forward. And every single step of the way, your woman is giving you 1,001 reasons on why she can't do it because some outside force is to blame. Brother, like when a lot of men talk about, when a lot of men talk about the emotional weight from a relationship, when a lot of guys say, you know what, it's just not worth it. A lot of it is that. It's not that a lot of men don't want to protect and provide and do all the things we do. It's just like a lot of women like don't have that basic foundation of being accountable so we can move forward. It's like handling toddlers, man. A lot of women are emotionally toddlers. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't say, oh, y'all women don't get in the comments saying, oh, you, but no, I'm saying a lot of women. Let's keep it 1,000. And I hear a lot of women saying it. A lot of women are immature. You know what I'm saying? A lot of women won't find any fault in relationship, won't find any fault in their career, won't find any fault in their physical condition. They'll find no fault in nothing. It's everybody else's fault. And I'm going to tell you, man, a woman that has no accountability, oh, she can't be entertained.
It's a lot of women who you will sit down and ask her, like, hey, like in your last relationship, like what role did you play in it going wrong?
Right.
And she'll look you dead in the eyes and say nothing. I did what I was supposed to do. He cheated.
Yeah.
Or I did what I was supposed to do. He neglected me.
Yeah.
Or whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? But no, it's something, but that speaks to the accountability of most women. And a lot of women lack accountability.
One of the hardest things that I had to do in my adult life is take accountability. I had to accept my role in the process of heartbreak. So I was once married and I destroyed that marriage. I cheated on my spouse and he was not deserving of that. I was selfish.